What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about what it's like to have natural hair in the military. I am active duty Air Force, and I do have, right now I have a weave-in, but I do have 4C textured natural hair. And I just want to talk about some of the difficulties that comes with being in the military and making sure that your hair stays in regs and dealing with higher-ups that may constantly question whether your hair is in regs or not, and how to protect our hair while making sure we're not getting in trouble for how we style. The hardest thing about I feel like having natural hair in the military is making sure you're following the guidelines that are set for the female grooming standard. Because let's be honest, most of those guidelines were not made with our hair texture in mind. It was made for this type of hair texture and making sure that the regs were something that fit into. Having big, curly, thick hair is not easy to minimize into the regs. Of course, the longer your hair is, the easier it will be we have to wear hair in buns, to pull your hair back into a bun and wrap it and all that. But if you were like me last year and your hair was not long enough to pull back into a bun, but it was still thick and curly, you had issues making sure that your hair stayed in regs. One of my biggest tips is just, I wear braids a lot. Right now, I rock a lot of protective styling. Right now, I've got a sew-in going on that I'm going to take out soon. And I wear a lot of box braids and things like that. But when I'm not, I have come up with a few ways to wear my hair so that I am in regs when I am in uniform. Before my hair got long enough to pull back into a bun on the back of my head, or into not even a bun, just a puff that's on the back of my head that would pass as a bun. And I still do it now, is I'll part my hair into 8 or 10 sections and just plait it. And I'll just have some Miss Seeley plaits going on my head. It's not cute, and honestly, I don't really care to be cute at work, so it's whatever. It's in regs, fits under my ABU cap. It's cool. But like I said, braids, other protective styles. What I actually want to do, another good thing would be to get a phony pony, like a phony puff. Because honestly, I don't like to wear my hair out. I don't like to wear, because honestly, I don't like to wear those Miss Seeley braids because they aren't cute. And sometimes I want to look better. So I wear my hair back in a puff. But honestly, those ABU caps, they're rough on your hair. They cause a lot of friction, taking it on, putting it off, or taking it off, putting it on. Whatever the case may be, it causes a lot of frizz, a lot of breakage, especially and pulling your hair back, I've noticed, especially around the nape of your neck, causes a lot of breakage, all of that. So a good alternative would be to get a phony puff, which is what I plan on doing, getting a phony puff and bunning my hair in the back and sticking the puff on top so that my hair is protected. Also, another something I've found out recently, that there is a website. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you Googled it, there is someone who does military hats with satin lined on the interior for people with natural hair, which is something I had thought about doing to my own cap, but then I saw that someone else was doing it. But I think I might try to just buy a piece of satin fabric and sew it into my cap. Also, with the fact that female grooming standards are so limiting, a lot of the times I can't rock some of the hairstyles that I see on Instagram with the really cute braid patterns and the braids that go in different directions. You got the small braids, the big braids, because they would be considered faddish. And I've already dealt with enough higher ups questioning whether my hair was in regs or not. I remember I would take my puff and rock it on the top and put my hat over it. I guess that's not really allowed, so I had to stop doing that and put it to the back, which made me look bald from the front. But it's a lot harder, especially because a lot of us like to be creative with our hairstyles, and it's very hard to do that when you're a member of the armed forces and you can't do certain braid patterns. You can't have certain hairstyles. For the longest, and it's weird because locks for women, dreadlocks, just became an authorized hairstyle. And before, you could wear faux locks, which was kind of redundant because it's I can have fake locks, but I can't have real locks, which is kind of a personal issue because I did have dreadlocks when I went to basic training, but that is a story for a whole nother video because obviously I don't have dreadlocks anymore. but we'll save that for later. But it's just really, it's limiting because for a lot of us, hair, no, you know, my hair is not who I am, but it is a part of who I am. And wanting to be able to be creative and express. Most of the time when I go on leave, that's the only time I can put in like colored braids or whatever. And you can still put in colored braids, you just be careful with what color you select and everything like that. But the moral of the story is having natural hair in the Air Force, at least from my perspective, it is a bit harder because the grooming standards are not made for us. They do not cater to our hair texture, and it's harder to make our hair fit into that box that they want it to fit into. You know, bulk size, the bulk size of your bun just increased, which I know is a lot of help to some people. It used to be 3 inches, now it's 3.5, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does help, especially when you have thick hair. And winding your hair, especially curly hair, winding your hair into a tight bun causes a lot of breakage. That's why I just wear my puff, and that is my bun. But I know people with longer hair, like the puff gets bigger and bigger, and you can't wear that if it's past 3.5 inches. But I've done it a couple of times. I've like twisted my hair. I can twist it into a tight bun, but it causes a lot of breakage and a lot of damage and things like that. So I just wanted to share my experience and share some ways. Like I said, loose plaits. I also do the two chunkier cornrows on the side and then cross it in the back. Just things like that. Like I always keep some braid hair handy. I always I already know what style I'm doing after this and the style I'm doing after that. I keep styles in rotation. Not to say that my hair is always covered up, but it is covered up at least like 80% of the time. Usually I'll do a style. I'll, you know, have braids or a weave or whatever. I hardly ever get sew-ins. This is actually the 3rd or 4th sew-in I've ever had. But box braids are my go-to. They just take so long. But usually I just rock a protective style and for about 4 to 6 weeks. And then when I do wear my hair out, max, I'll wear it like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks if I'm feeling really lazy about not wanting to braid my hair up or whatever. Like 2 to 3 weeks in between protective styles is really how I do it. So yeah, that's gonna be all for today's video. This is really only like the 2nd video I've recorded, so it's probably gonna be a little sloppy. But if you tuned in, thanks for watching. And I guess I'll check you guys in another video. Bye-bye.